So decided to do a batch of all grain. It's been a while, done a bit of studying, and be good to put some of that stuff into practice. So I've borrowed the hot liquor tank / boiler from Bill. Bill is the owner operator of thatbeerplace.com. So it's pretty cool. It's got a little tap down here as well, and a couple of attachments so that you can hook up a copper cooler. It's got a lid as well. So I'm just heating up the mash water at the moment. Just doing some calcs on Beersmith, and it says 16 litres. Get it up to 75.4. So yeah, doing that. And here's the homemade mash tun. So this is going to be the first voyage for this thing. So I've done temperature testing and it holds good. But the only thing we haven't done is a real mash in it. So it'd be good to check the efficiency and temperature holding. So that'd be the ultimate test, really. So this brew is, we're using Munich 2, and we're using Bohemian Pilsner malt, and we're basically just going half and half, 2.5 kgs each to make 5 kgs of grain. And the hop bill, actually using quite a lot of hops in this. It's going to be more of like a pale ale, American style. Trying a few hops I have not used before, so should be good. Good little experiment. So got some Northern Brewer from Dennis, a guy who visited us a while ago. It was very nice of him, so never tried that, first chance. And we've got Citra, haven't tried that before either. We've also got Columbus, haven't had that before. And bittering hop today is Nelson Sauvin. Kind of breaks the American style a bit there, but then again so does the grain. But really what we're doing is just Nelson Sauvin. I've got truckloads of it, so I'm just going to use that for bittering. And then the other ones we're going to do like 5-minute addition, whirlpooling and dry hopping, just to see what comes out of them. Bit of a mix really, so should be an interesting experiment. Yeah, anywho, so we're heating up water and just waiting really for that to happen, and then we'll get cracking. Right, I've just measured all the grains. We've got 2,500 grams of each, and checked the thermometer, and looks like our water is about 72, 71, 72 degrees. So we're getting closer to getting the mash happening. I'm not putting the grains in first, I'm getting the water in there first. Much easier that way. A lot of people recommend it. Cool, so we're up to temperature. Just draining the hot liquor down into the mash tun now. Should be good. Cool, so just mixing in the grist here, getting stuff all nice and wet. Make sure there's no dough balls or any of that carry on. I can feel a couple in there, so I've got to really cut into them nice and quick before we chuck the lid on. So far so good though. I'm pleased with the volumes. I mean, 16 litres of water and 5 kilos of grain actually doesn't quite come to the top either, so we're all looking good for our maiden voyage here on the Brewtubetech homemade mash tun. Alrighty, I'll carry on with this. We've got it all in here. First problem though, just a numbers thing I guess, is that we didn't quite hit our target of 67 degrees Celsius. We're sitting more like 64, so 3 degrees off. So what I'm doing is I'm just boiling the jug. I'm going to add water, and I'm going to subtract that away from my sparging amounts, and hopefully that'll bump us up a little bit. Cool. Right, mash is up to temperature, top's on, leaving that for an hour, and we're just slowly heating up our sparging water. Be 21 litres minus 1 litre of boiling water to bring that up, so 20 litres in here. I think we've got to bring that up to about 75, 76 degrees. So yeah. Right, just got the hops all weighed out. So there's our 60-minute edition, and there's our 5-minute edition and our Whirlpool edition. So I'm going to be whirlpooling for probably 5 to 10 minutes, just to try and settle some of the grains and sedimentation, that sort of stuff, before I chuck it off into the fermenter. So there you go. Right, so mash is done, hot liquor tank, 20 litres, 76 degree water, popping that into my fermenter. So I'm going to use my fermenter to for the sparging. So just filling that up for now with 20 litres, and we'll get set. Righto, got a sparge water, mash is done, looking pretty good, and the boiler. So boom. Gravity system. Let's get cracking. Right, so we're just doing a roll off. Trying to sort of set the grain bed, I suppose, and at the same time try and clear up the water a little bit. I don't know if you can see, it's not the clearest, but it's not the cloudiest. So, getting somewhere. Just using this ice cream container lid to sort of stop the liquid from splashing too much. Right, I think we've got it about as clear as we're going to get it, so we'll open this up and we'll start the trickle. Looking fairly clear, and not really seeing any bits of grain in there either, so that's pretty cool. The only rough thing about this is a bit worried about hot side aeration, so I don't know, we'll have to keep an eye on that, see what happens. Okay, so we're sort of middle of our sparge runnings, and you can see we're getting pretty good clarity. So yep, just coming to the end of it now. I suppose the water levels sunk through the grain bed. Just running the taps only slightly faster, still just a trickle. She's filling up. I just did a dip check and I think we're up to about 24 or 25 litres. Expecting about 30. Cool. Righto, so the cool thing about this design for the mash tun is you can lift out this inner sleeve and you've got all the grain, and you can take a peek down in the dead space, and look at that. Just a bit of crap swill around there. I would say that is probably no more than 200 mils. So really, efficiency wise on what's left over, not too bad. And yep, grain is not sweet anymore, so we've done a good extraction. Might take a pre-boil gravity reading, just see what we've got. Right, so just going over some of the numbers here just to check out our efficiency, which is interesting. Got efficiency of 75.3%. The funny thing is, I got a pre-boil gravity of 1035 when they were estimating in Beersmith, that is, 1046, and I thought, oh, that's a bit off. Over here, you can see there's a ton bed space of 3 litres. And I actually only had left over, you know, about sort of 200 mils or so. So that is probably wrong. Probably got a take the tick out of that, or maybe even just change the dead space to 200 mils. So yeah, when they're expecting 29 litres, we actually brought in 33 and a bit. So 3, so we're still a litre and a half above, you know, what we should have had in the first place anyway. So yeah, bit of an interesting one. Good to know though that our efficiency is 75%. It is probably a little bit tricky to tell though, in that we had 3 litres there accounted for, but we technically got that back anyway, so that probably messes up the efficiency again, and I am not going to go through a massive calculation to sort that out. So I'm just going to assume we're about 75, give or take. So that's pretty cool. Good place to start, and we can kind of build on that. Cool, so preparing for the boil. What temperature have we got there? About 70 degrees, that's just the steam. Checked it before, it's just creeping up over 80, so we're almost at the boil, so that's cool. I've also decided to try and do a 90-minute boil, just to counter the extra few litres of water that we've achieved. So hopefully that balances it out and brings us back to roughly what we're meant to be on in terms of numbers. Numbers. Got stuff sanitizing, pretty easy, you know the drill. And for this batch, I actually intend to do no chill. So I'm going to do no chill straight into the fermenter. And I'm going to make sure to kind of have the airlock not quite as full as it should be to start off with, as we're probably going to get about, well, maybe 900 mils to a litre of water, kind of compact in, you know, as it shrinks and cools down. So it's going to bring air back into the fermenter to start with. So could be interesting. We'll see how that goes. And basically I'm just going to put it out on the doorstep, and it's winter here, so it's cold, and hopefully overnight it drops down. Even sometime tomorrow we should be good. So I watched a couple videos out there, and people were swearing by no chill, saying, you know, it works really well, you don't really get the DMS sort of aromas and flavours. And I thought, well, hell, let's give it a go. I don't have a copper work chiller, although with this gear that I borrowed with this pot, Bill actually has one, so I could have used it, but chose not to. Simplicity. So yeah, that's what my plan is. We'll see how we go. Here we go. Get ready for it. Hot break never happens when you're watching, does it? Rightio. Been kind of boiling for a little while now. Just checking our levels. Yeah, we are like just under a litre. Just under a litre off what we need to be, so that's cool. It's after midnight here now, so still got to crack on with our 60-minute boil, which I'll probably start now, or in maybe 10 minutes, and just give that 1 litre chance to evaporate off, and then we should have our good numbers, hopefully. Oh. Right, feeling pretty good with the water level now, so and with our 60-minute hop addition. Mm. 5-minute addition. Right, time to switch it all off. Finished our 60-minute boil, and let's get it over here where we can start a whirlpool. Cool, so I've got it in a good spot here where I can sort of fill up the fermenter once we've finished the whirlpool. So may as well get this thing going. So we're going to whirlpool for probably about 5 to 10 minutes once the hops are in anyway. I'm just going to give it a real decent stir for now, just to try and cool it off just a little bit, and then we'll get cracking adding those hops in. Rightio, it's cooled down a little bit now, so what we'll do is we'll get this whirlpool going and start adding some hops in. Smells brilliant. Okay, well, been about 10 minutes now, so we'll start to switch this on and just catching some hot debris as we go as well. This is why whirlpooling is good. Look at that. Big clump of sediment and stuff in the middle there. Awesome. Missing out on that. So we've just got sort of sediment left in there. That's filled up nicely. We've managed to get 21 and a bit litres, so by the time that cools and condenses we should be on about 21 litres, 20 litres, so that's good. I'll just pop the lid on for a moment, don't want anything falling in there. So good use of the sieve, it just cleared out so much stuff. Here you go, I mean that stopped all that gunk getting into the brew, so it was well worthwhile. Cool. Better chuck this outside and yeah, let it cool down overnight. As we can see, the temperature is off the chart. Right, well, it's cooled down overnight, and we actually ended up with 21 litres. So what we'll do is we'll crack in our yeast, Sapphire US 05. So we'll get this guy, pop it there. Whoop. And we'll just sprinkle it on the top. On she goes. Oh man, that smells lovely. I find there's one big difference with well, you know, it's not the one big difference, but you know, it's a real obvious one when you're brewing like all grain versus say extract. Like just the freshness of the grains and hops and things, more so the grains. You know, you're really getting that up front. Like just lifting the lid, I could smell the grains. They smell amazing, so aromatic. You know, compared to say just using the plain extract or whatever. So well, there you go. Anywho, we'll let that ferment for a week, then we'll do a week of dry hopping and yeah, see how she comes along.